あの頃は本当に楽しかった。海この酒場で
Tokyo Godfathers is a masterfully told story. It should be no surprise that a film by Satoshi Kon is intricately penned, but in his Christmas trek across Tokyo, he takes that craftsmanship to such satisfying heights that the picture demands a deeper dive than the one I was able to give in my previous video. If you've yet to watch the movie, be warned, I'm about to spoil some of its most enjoyable beats. Over the years, I've watched Tokyo Godfathers countless times, and what surprises me about the film is that, to this day, I notice something new every time I take it in. A wall covered in cat pictures early on foreshadows Miyuki's backstory and her affinity for felines, and a newspaper headline announcing a stolen baby similarly threatens to spoil the movie's denouement. The book collection Hana is looking for when the group discover Kyoko tumbles out of a stranger's bag in a blink-and-you'll-miss-it collision later, and the office lights above Gin's run-in with thugs act as the two parties' life bars during their street fight. It's a rich world full of detail, and when the joyful credits roll, I'm always left with a sense of how nothing in the last 90 minutes was a wasted shot or throwaway line. In a medium such as animation, where everything within the frame is placed with purpose, it's fantastic to see a movie that's woven with so much delicacy and forethought. Then, of course, there's the coincidental nature of Tokyo Godfathers. Time and time again, Gin, Hana and Miyuki benefit from seemingly preordained encounters that push them towards their goal. It might have felt cheap or contrived in a movie that feels less considered, but here it adds to the force of fate that permeates the production. Indeed, after finding Kyoko, there's a sense of destiny to the journey of our leads. As soon as they accept their roles as her guardians, they constantly find themselves in the right place, at the right time, and with the right people, and more often than not, just out of harm's way, seemingly benefiting from a guardian angel of their own. Angels and winged images are, fittingly, a visual motif throughout the film, and that sense of protection is confirmed when Gin abandons Kyoko and suffers directly as a consequence in the movie's most horrific beat. That moment tracks for Gin, of course, who previously abandoned his family when the going got tough. It's in this lowest moment that Gin stumbles across an old homeless man. A poignant encounter long before I ever realised the deeper symbolism in the scene. Drunk and alone, Gin finds him collapsed on the street, shares a final drink with him, and watches him pass. It's a beautiful and tender moment, but it took me a few repeat viewings to notice that Gin and the stranger are identically dressed, even down to their bag, and have the same hair, though it's longer and whiter now. They even share a penchant for alcohol and gambling, as evident by the man's bag of lottery tickets. It is Gin, a ways down the road to be sure, but it's undeniably him, at the end of a solitary journey and about to die alone. It's a warning for Gin, not to push away either of his families, and the message gets through. Gin goes on to risk his life in a harrowing action scene to save a baby he has no ties to save Miyuki as she tumbles off a building, and even reconnects with his daughter, who is also, coincidentally, named Kyoko. She's seemingly the star of her own fateful story, engaged to a man who looks and acts like a reliable version of her father, and whose backstory is a legitimate version of the one Gin used to garner some sympathy. The beauty of Tokyo Godfathers is that everything is truly connected. From the smallest details to the biggest plot threads, from the most inconsequential side characters to the reoccurring players, everything feels like part of the same tapestry. A tapestry held together by wonderful coincidence and careful storytelling alike. Like a Broadway production using familiar melodic motifs to tie a musical together, Kon calls upon offhand remarks and asides to achieve a sense of wholeness that leaves an audience incredibly satisfied by our tale's end. It's a beautiful metaphor in a movie that is trying to tell us that we're all connected, that we are part of the same tapestry, and urges us to reconsider our prejudice about those living on the fringes of society. The film ultimately asks us to appreciate what we have, to share what we can, and to realise we're all part of one big family. Like the world of Tokyo Godfathers, ours will be infinitely richer when we realise that.